John, is your weather good there?
Weather is very nice. Yeah, we're in the rainy season, but it's been pretty good lately.
Good.
Getting cold though.
Let me see if I see. Okay, I see you on there. Well, we don't see you. You're connected, but we don't see your video. Oh, he's off.
You have a tape over the camera lens?
I'm sorry, John, didn't hear you.
I'd say if Bob has a tape over his camera lens, like I do, sometimes I forget to take it off and I'm all black.
Right. He's been on there before. He should make it. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi there. Yeah, we were just, Bob and I were just talking on the phone, so I know he can see and hear everybody, but Bob, we can't see you and we can't hear you. We know you're connected.
Move this around and see if it makes any difference.
I think we hear you there, but not very well.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you faintly.
Well, I don't know whether I might be sitting too high, but I'm going to move back to where I was the other day when I was on there and see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, we can hear you pretty well now, but we can't see you. And Uncle John thought that maybe you had a piece of tape over your camera or something, but and it looks like Della's connected on her iPad. We can hear you.
You can?
We can hear you. Yeah, we can't see you, but we can hear you very well.
Oh,
hi there, Della.
I'm halfway home.
You see him?
And besides that,
No.
it's better to hear me
No.
than to see me, okay?
It's too dark.
You don't see him?
So we've got this is Jeremy. We've got Gordon, Bob Roberts. So we've got Gordon Husk, Bob Roberts, John Flanigan, Mike Flanigan. We've got Della Brace and I know Vic was going to connect because he called me. So we should have him connecting shortly as well.
No, I lost your guy's picture when I moved down to the table.
Well, we hear you. We can't see you, but we can sure hear you well. So that's okay.
How is everyone?
Okay.
Everyone who's on here is still in good shape.
I'm gonna click
Hi,
up where it
John.
is.
Come on, Mandy.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
That's Della, Granddad.
Oh, I couldn't see her.
No, we can't see Della or Bob Roberts, but we can hear them.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll just proceed and everyone can talk, and those who can see each other, fine, and those who can't, well, that's okay. We'll just listen.
Yeah, okay.
How are you, Mike?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Della?
Well, I lost a daughter in September to cancer. So it's not a happy holiday season.
Yeah, right.
Plus, because of the virus, how is it in Hawaii, John?
Well, it's very Hawaiian, very Polynesian. Nice weather and very quiet. Everybody's staying home.
Well, I'm not even joining the rest of my family for Christmas because at 86, I'm scared of the virus and I just don't think I could handle family without the one I lost.
Yeah, I understand. Can certainly understand that.
I saw your daughter's picture in the old bits at the Louisville Times. Just happened to glance by there, and I saw Salem, and I looked there, and I saw your name there. And I said, my gosh, it's our daughter. So I called Garden because I knew you were in school together, and he said he had heard about it, but he hadn't heard about her passing.
That's Vic, so I'm gonna mute myself.
I didn't get all that, Jeremy.
John. Hello, John.
Having a little rain shower right now.
Is that right?
We're supposed to get snow here, John, on Wednesday.
Been a long time since I've seen any snow.
Yeah. Well,
Who was talking?
I'm sorry. This is Mandy, Mike's granddaughter. I mean, Mike's daughter.
Oh, glad to hear from you.
So we're in Virginia, and Virginia's calling for accumulating snow on Wednesday, but nobody's saying how much yet. No.
Ooh, what happened?
I don't know. No picture, Mandy.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Somebody took over our screens.
Hi, Gordon.
Hi, Della.
I'm still pushing buttons.
It's good to hear your voice.
I never was smart as you, you know.
I think it said at the top there that we were viewing Bob Roberts' screen.
I can't pick Della up. I've got the rest of you and everything, but I can't get my thing. I don't know what to click on this thing. I'm rather computer illiterate.
Your email address is showing. There it's gone.
I got an email from Ronnie Kissel. He wanted to be on my Facebook, and I guess most of you remember him.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Ronnie Kissel.
He had a picture of the basketball team in 1953, and I was trying to get it up so I could
No picture.
send it to you guys. But one of these days I'll find somebody to help me get it up. It was really an excellent picture with all of them and everything, with Claude Rutherford and stuff. Had the Yell Eaters and everything, and I know it had about 3 different classes on there, I think, from 1953 and 54 and 55 that was on the basketball team. And the Yell Eaters and things, it was really good. And did Ronnie stay in the Navy and retire from there or not? Do you know?
He was in the Navy. He was an officer, I believe.
That it had the picture of his family and everything, but he had a picture of that, and it was excellent. It's one of the better pictures I've ever seen.
Black.
Bob, you should invite Ron Kissel to join us on some of these calls.
Pardon?
You should ask Ron Kissel to join us on some of these calls.
Oh, okay. That next time I get him up or have something on there, I'll do that.
We're
He
about
had
to
a
see
picture
Della
of him
now, I
and his
think.
family and everything, and it was really nice.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, we're gonna probably not. And there's Vic connecting. We're probably not gonna see Bob or really see Della. We're just gonna hear them for now. And
We can see Della's pack of Marlboros.
Thanks, Jeremy.
you got it. We can see.
Victor,
Hi, Vic.
Victor Megenity.
Michael Pale. Hi, John. Hi, Gordon.
Hi,
Okay.
Della.
And
Nope.
is Della on? Della May?
I'm here, Vic.
Hello, Della May.
I don't get called that much anymore.
Okay, Della. Hello, Della.
How you doing?
Doing okay. Was Bob Roberts on earlier?
He's on.
I'm on here, but I can't get my picture up, Vic.
Well,
Maybe
Bob,
it-
that might be a good deal.
I was going to think it might be.
And I'll also mention, I saw yesterday, right about this time, I got an email because the Zoom system, if a meeting attendee joins before I join, since I'm the host, I get an email that says that somebody's waiting. So I saw about this time yesterday that Melvin Beasley had tried to join, but of course he was a day off, and I don't have his contact information. It told me that it was Mel Beasley, but it doesn't give me a way to contact the person. So
Okay,
I was hoping he would realize and maybe join us today.
Well, he called me yesterday about 10 after 5 and said, Vic, I'm on. Are you on? I said, no, this is Saturday. And he said, oh, it's tomorrow, isn't it? So he said he was going to come on today.
Okay, well, he may well join us yet.
I would like to see Melvin Beasley. I haven't seen him since high school.
Yeah, really.
Where's he living? Vic?
California.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he as smart as his dad with math and all that?
He was always a very smart kid.
They're talking about Melvin Beasley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, his daddy was probably the best teacher in all of Indiana, Bill Beasley.
Probably. I asked Melvin if it was true when he was in the 8th grade that when he got all of his work done, that his teacher would let him go get a set of encyclopedias, one book at a time, and he'd read the entire book, A, B, C. He said, that's true. That was your dad. My dad was his teacher. He said that was true because he was so fast, he'd get all the work done much quicker than the rest of us that were somewhat slower.
I remember Bill Beasley saying, remember the old school and rooms in the basement?
Yes.
He would say, everybody taking something, head for the
Physics.
Physics, yeah.
physics. Yeah, everybody taking
Yeah, get a grab a
physics,
piece of
head to the
paper and follow me to the basement. You know, he always used to, in number 9 there, that he'd have to spit. So he'd run over to the window and pull the first window up and spit, close it down. And one day he got over there and he made about 5 passes to that window and he couldn't pull it up. So he went to the next window and he spit, turned around and looked and said, that was a close one.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about Bill Beasley.
He was an excellent teacher.
Yes.
You know, we had some very good teachers at our little school in English, Indiana. We were blessed. you know, your dad told me, Vic, when I was in 7th grade, he'd had all my brothers and sisters before me, and they were all ladies and gentlemen, but me.
Della, I remember in one class, you remember John Benny Dotson, don't you, Della?
Of course.
Of course. He married Della's sister,
Rosemary.
Rosemary. That's right. And I
Right.
remember John Benny got upset with you, Della, and he said, now, if I could buy you for what you thought you were worth and sell you for what you're really worth, I'd really be losing a lot of money. I remember that right in the classroom.
Oh, ain't it wonderful, our school memories? We have so many.
Now, Bill Beasley was very unusual, and I think I've mentioned this before, but when I bumped into him at the JC store in English, probably 25 years ago, he said, I'm going to be very unique. I'm going to live in 3 centuries. He was born in 1899, and he died in 2000. So he made it to 3 centuries. He was correct.
Yeah.
I remember the little house they lived in on North.
Yeah, he was born in 1899, wasn't he?
Yes, yes,
And he died in 2000.
yes.
How about that?
And that's
That's
pretty good.
amazing.
Yeah.
What was that he used to say? The sign on hypotenuse of a right triangle? Well, it wasn't the sign. What did he say? Something on the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to
Square.
some of the sides of the
Square.
other 2 legs.
The square.
Oh, the square of the hypotenuse. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
That's our John. He's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. I couldn't remember. The square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to the sum of the square of the other 2 legs.
Bob, how's things down at English?
Everything's fine. It's rather quiet.
Imagine.
Our virus picked up from 1 to 6 on the people that has died.
Oh
But
boy.
it's that Mike Benham's our fire chief. He and his wife both have the virus
Oh,
gee.
my.
and stuff. So he'd been in the hospital, but he's home now. But he hadn't been in the business for about a week and a half or 2 weeks and things.
Hi, Jenny.
It's rather quiet, as it usually is.
Yeah.
Most of the guys that raised hell, they don't live here anymore.
No, you're right there.
Are most of them on
possibly
the
the
Zoom
last
call
one.
now?
You know, you're talking about John Benny Dodson, and he possibly had one of the best ball clubs that they've had since English started playing ball again in 1939. And they were real good. I know but Joe Eastridge was one of the mainstays on there, and
Yeah.
he went and Ewan started in, and he made the freshman team, and they wouldn't give him a scholarship, so he went out to eastern New Mexico and played there for a couple of years, and then came back, and he didn't play basketball, but he graduated from IU.
Yes.
But he made the freshman team, and they never give him a scholarship.
Okay, you ready? Are you ready for a little history lesson?
Sure, go.
Okay. I've got a paper here called Crawford County's Insurrection. And it's Clifford Cox wrote it, as told by John Will Megenity. Now, Bob, do you remember John Will Megenity?
No,
Bob, do you remember John Will Megenity?
John Will.
That was
I've heard of him, but I don't remember him.
that was my granddad George's brother.
brother. Yeah, he lived up in Brownstown.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Anyway, this is focusing on how English got the county seat. And some of you know the story about that, but this is in a little bit more detail. First of all, the first question, first county seat of Crawford County was?
Leavenworth.
Mount Sterling.
Fredonia. Fredonia.
Mount Sterling.
Not Fredonia, not Leavenworth. Bob Roberts got it. Mount Sterling.
Not Sterling. Okay.
Oh,
Mount
But they didn't
Sterling.
have any water. Didn't have any water there.
You got that right, Bob.
My grandfather was involved in moving it, the county seat from Leavenworth to English.
Well,
And
now
they-
you're getting ahead of the story. Yeah, well, you're getting ahead of the story.
Okay, I'll back off of it. I mean, I have
Okay.
a printout from the Flanigan paper that tells about when my grandfather and other English people took their rifles and wagons and went to Leavenworth and stole the record and moved them to English.
That's the end of the story.
That's what.
But you know, they didn't steal it because the commissioners had okayed it for it be moved to English.
You're right, Bob.
And Leavenworth wouldn't move it, so English went over and got it.
Right.
And you know,
After. Go ahead, Bob.
go ahead and finish your story. Or were you finished?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't finished. So in 1822, the county records were carried from Mount Sterling under a man's arm to Fredonia, the biggest town in Crawford County. Wouldn't have thought that, but in
Okay, interesting.
1822. So Fredonia was the county seat until 1843, a little over 20 years. And the jail had fallen into ruins in Fredonia, and the it was moved to Leavenworth. By the way, I was in that
Yeah, but the county,
original courthouse. My sister and my mother arrived to Fredonia, and the courthouse was being used as a church. It had just been. We went in and looked around, and it had all the trappings of a court. But it burned a couple years later. Somebody burned it down.
There is Mel.
They've rebuilt another building to replicate it.
Gordon, do you remember a few years ago when we went to English and took our little tour? And remember the picture
The name of the
of the English jail that was so.
railroad.
yes.
You don't happen to have one, I guess.
Airline. It was the Airline Southern. Now it's the Norfolk Southern, I believe. But anyway,
Welcome, Mel.
English petitioned one of the counties. Pardon?
Vic, your connection's kind of freezing up.
And Bob was correct. It
So I'm missing, I don't know if other people are catching everything, but I'm missing a lot of what you're saying.
should be moved to English.
Me
but
too.
Not.
I'm missing a lot.
Not go along with that at Leavenworth.
well, welcome, Mel.
Special meeting was held in English. And Cummins,
Okay, now who is this young handsome man?
John Luckett, Jim Tucker, George
Who?
Sloan. Some of those names you can remember.
What?
Those are the people that
We're just getting some of
Through-
the words.
of
Who was the picture I saw?
That's
they loaded up
Mel
sledgehammer.
Beasley.
Hello.
What?
Hi, Mel.
Captain Jack Goodman.
Vic doesn't know
Charge.
cutting in and out, so he's telling us a story.
Who is that trying to talk? The connection's not very good, as you said.
It's mostly Vic trying to talk.
Mostly Vic. Okay.
Bob Roberts and Della
I'll tell you something.
are also connected, but we don't have.
It keeps coming and going.
I didn't understand.
But, one thing that
Open.
the bridge there in English that they built in
Oh,
1935,
Yes.
they replaced it. It just opened up this week and stuff. When I was a kid in 1935 and they got it finished, I walked across that bridge. And that night they had 2 square dances on the main street. There wasn't any traffic.
Bob, can you,
So the other day when they started to tear this
your
bridge
internet
down, I
connection
walked
is
across
unstable.
it,
it says.
and I came back. And the other day when they finished it, I walked across it again. And so the bridge in 37 is now open.
It's
a brand
open.
new bridge.
Oh, wow.
I'm here.
I don't know. You want to try to log back on there?
Yeah, we can hear you, Vic, but
Just close out and try to log back on. Sorry. I mean, I don't know what.
it's okay. We can hear you now, but your picture's frozen, but you were cutting in and out that whole time.
Who was that, Dick? Who was that?
That was Vic's sister. Vic's daughter. He's at his daughter's house, so she's helping with some computer stuff. So they might disconnect and try to log back in. So we can carry on in the meanwhile.
What kind of video are we getting from Della? There's some kind of a video there, but I don't know what it is. Looks like there's a camera just aimed randomly at a tabletop or something.
Yeah, Della's on her iPad, so I think that it might be sitting down, or there might be something kind of covering the camera on it. That's why we don't see her, but we hear her fine.
Okay.
It's probably my stupidity because I don't know the right buttons to push.
But that's okay, because sometimes if we try to fix the problem, we disconnect entirely. So
That's right.
I know about that.
Hey, John, can you imagine when we were in high school or grade school or whatever, that we would ever know that the technology that we are experiencing this moment?
Nope. Science fiction was pretty good at looking ahead, but they missed an awful lot of things, namely the magic of communication that we have. If you remember the stories of the spacemen taking off on the rocket ship and disappearing, and nobody knew what happened until years later they came back and told us what happened. Now we follow them every step of the way.
Well, Dick Tracy had a wrist radio, but that was only a small part of what we have.
Now we have a RISC supercomputer.
Yeah, right.
You know, I thought I lived 86 years and seen everything. And then 2020 happened.
Oh my.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Della made that your cousin, I guess, Greg Starr, has the virus. I didn't know whether you knew that or not. He married Curtis Benham's daughter, and he's a state policeman. They live in Paola.
I'm not getting it all. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. The rest of you hear that?
Yeah.
I wonder if I could ask Gordon a question. How did you guys find out about that Naval Reserve thing? Because I was obviously going to high school in Albany all that time, and I never heard of it. And yet you guys down 40 miles away in English seem to have found out about that. How did you guys find out about it?
Who's this?
Actually, I joined in Evansville, but after I had a motorcycle accident, I started going with Vic and Mike and others over to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
they had all joined in Louisville, I presume.
So I guess Vic and Mike found out about it first then. I just never heard of it at the
That's
time. I was just interested.
Mel Beasley?
Yeah.
I joined in 1952 in, I think, September in Evansville. Mike, when did you join in Louisville?
When did I what?
When did you join the Naval Reserve? 1952 or thereabouts?
It must have, yeah, it's before I was out of high school. Must have been 52. That sounds right.
Do you remember how you found out about it?
No.
Okay.
The whole idea of joining was to keep from being drafted.
Well, I understand that, but I didn't even know that was a possibility, and I was right across the river in New Albany.
Yeah.
They met
was
at
a guy.
They met at Standard Field. Melvin, it was a strange place to have Naval Reserve, in my opinion, but it was right at Standard Field.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think,
Well, they got a big naval base out here in the middle of the desert, so that's nothing. Speaking about strange. Do you know there was a guy named in the Naval Recruiting Office there? I think his last name might have been Longest, and somehow he got in touch with me about trying to get me in the Naval Reserve Scholarship, which I really didn't qualify for as far as I was too small. I didn't weigh enough, but it was a good, he seemed to go out of his way to help me out, to try to help me out, although it didn't work out.
that's good.
It was the same guy.
I have a story similar to that. I volunteer with Indy Honor Flight, and we fly the veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials. And we have a lady who is 100 years old now, and she tells a story about going to Fort Harrison in Indianapolis to donate blood. And she was 1 pound too light to donate blood. That made her mad. So she walked across the street and joined the Army.
That's funny.
It is.
She's now 100 years old and sharp as can be.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She told me I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, before we leave, let me wish you all the best Christmas you can have in all the turmoil. And I've never seen our world in this mess. I pray to God that He is the only one, and I know He's the only one that can help us out of it. But I've enjoyed being friends of all of you from English. It was a small town, but very precious.
Well, we can.
Della, I didn't live in English. I lived in the suburbs in Grantsburg. And I used to tell people that I was from Resume Speed because it was the only sign.
That's good.
Hello, Melvin, I'm back.
Hi, Vic.
Okay. See you, Vic.
Okay,
We can hear you this time.
I'll finish up what I was reading here, and it's when there were 100 wagons with 3 men to a wagon and 100 men on horseback. That was quite a small army moving through Grantsburg, Sulphur, on to Leavenworth. Captain Jack sent a couple scouts ahead, and they waved us in. Leavenworth just sat there in the sun and watched. We went about our business, surrounding the square with the wagons, the lead wagon reaching the tailgate of the end one. Joel Finch pounded on the door of the recorder's office. Jim Mint Brown was the recorder. Said he had a deed to record. The door was open, and we rushed in and started carrying out the books. The safe was loaded in Sam Everton's 4-horse wagon. That night, the records were piled in the sandstone Luckett building, which did stand in English until It was torn down. So that's how English became the county seat.
My grandfather was part of that.
Well, that was my great
So was mine.
uncle was a part of it. And your grandfather was, Della?
Yes, Levi Folly Star.
Well. That was quite a wild group of men, I guess, that made that trip to Leavenworth.
That was probably their playing soldier back.
Probably. Many of them were Civil War veterans.
Something that he lives and breathes.
We've got another friend here, Bob Mason joining. Robert Mason.
Hi there.
Hello, Bob Mason.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
I get away from the TV.
That'll help. I'll just give a roll call here because we've got so many people. There's 9 of us on here. So in case everyone can't see everyone else, we've got Gordon Husk. I'm Jeremy Flanigan. We've got Bob Roberts, John Flanigan, Mike Flanigan, Della Starr, Melvin Beasley, Vic Megenity, and Bob Mason.
Good
All
job,
right.
Jeff. Good job. You're great.
Not a bad turnout.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I was saddened to see the failure of the Boy Scouts of America. I never saw any of that bad behavior myself, nor was I ever aware of it, but I guess it's true. But it certainly was a clean-cut outdoors organization when I was a kid, and I, enjoyed going on some, camping trips with them.
Yeah.
I remember one time we went to a camping with a bunch of temporary scoutmasters at Fredonia there, the little Westbach, little tiny little park there. So most of the guys, or a lot of the guys, pitched tents up at the top, but then some of us more adventuresome insisted we wanted to go down the bluff. So we went down the bluff about halfway and found a level place and pitched our tents and cooked and everything, but there was only one flashlight and the guys up at the top kept it. Well, we all pitched our tents and then and finally everybody was finished eating and started going to sleep, and then some guy yells, "Hey, somebody pulled my tent peg up." Well, that caused for retaliation, and pretty soon everybody was running around and every tent there was torn down. And then 5 o'clock in the morning, the rains came, and I mean it poured, and that was the end of the fun. We were one heavy, wet bunch carrying all that stuff up that muddy trail afterwards.
Now, I remember one Boy Scout camp out was at Grantsburg Lake, and Bob Roberts and somebody else took the monument truck and put a bunch of us in the back of it. That was from his, that Roberts family. I don't know whether it's his brother, half-brother, step-brother, or who it was. Clyde, is that your half-brother, Bob?
Half-brother.
That's right, okay. And you took us to Grantsburg Lake. Do you remember that, Bob?
Yeah, and you know who the scoutmaster was Bobby's dad. Bobby Mason's dad. Paul was scoutmaster.
Yeah, I remember him.
Okay, all right. Now,
Yeah.
Bob, did you go on that to Grantsburg Lake?
Yeah,
You remember that big dark
I
cliff?
remember we got drowned, and then that night we caught all the frogs and had frog legs.
Oh yeah, I remember that well.
It was pouring down rain. I do remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
It came a rainstorm, and Paul and I
That lake's still there, Gordon.
guys started running for the lake, and there wasn't any. There wasn't any.
Grantsburg Lake's still there.
Okay, I remember a Girl Scout.
Hello,
story.
Gordon. Can you hear us?
Let the girls come in. I think her name was Mary Frances Luckett, was our Girl Scout leader. And she had a camp somewhere out in the wild. I don't remember where.
Gordon, can you?
Anyways, they took us, the Girl Scouts, out there for an all-night sleepover. And I was wearing my sister's black clothes. And it came up pouring down rain. And my clothes faded to red, so I became red all over. But on the way back, I remember the mushrooms popping up. And we're just gathering mushrooms and whatever we can handle. Is that a funny story?
Let me ask a question with these people here. Speaking of Francis Luckett and the Girl Scouts, I inherited all of Francis's Girl Scout pictures, and I put them up on my SmugMug file. And I think I've sent the URL to a lot of you. But among those pictures are a couple of pictures of the girls doing blackface.
Ooh.
My question is, should I take them down?
Pictures of what?
The girls are all doing a skit in blackface, which is not PC anymore. And the question is, should I leave those on the site or should I take them down? What's your opinion?
I would say leave them. I'm with you.
I don't think you should change history.
Well, that's my opinion too, Bob, but I'm not sure that everybody would agree with
It
that.
might not be right, but still, I don't think you change history. You don't change monuments. You don't change things that happened years and years ago when this country started developing.
So are there any dissenters? I'll leave them up by this advice that I'm getting.
I would leave them up, John. I don't think there's any reason that that little bit of history is going to cause anyone harm.
Right. Okay, good enough.
Well, I would have to say that I'm not sure that there's sufficient representation. I'm just looking at all the panels here, even though Bob Roberts, we can't see his picture. It's just a big black rectangle. I don't think that there's adequate representation amongst us to be giving a well-balanced take on what might or might not be offensive in regards to blackface.
Bob
That's
Roberts
certainly
is in
true.
blackface.
At least I have not been given any reason to take them down. So as of now, I'll leave them up.
That's
A
fair.
question. Bob Roberts, how old are you?
93.
Oh,
I'm the oldest man in English now. That's been here all his life.
well, bless you.
I keep thinking I'm pretty old, but I'm only the third oldest on this screen.
Congratulations, John. I remember when you had really very serious accidents when you were a kid. You were crossing the road coming from school there in front of Kenny Luckett's.
Yeah.
You were hit. Was Haight Sloan driving that car that hit you?
I don't remember the name of the guy. Young man.
Okay.
Driving a yellow Model A Ford.
Oh, yeah.
John, I have a fond memory. Do you remember many years ago, you were living in Florida and I was
yes.
visiting and you took me to your house for breakfast? Do you
Sure
remember
do.
that?
Sure do remember that. Very fond memory.
Yes, very fond. I remember a bunch of bamboo growing in your backyard.
Yeah, that's right. Great big bamboo.
We saw your face there, Della. I think you maybe had a blanket over the camera was why we couldn't see you.
No, but it probably would look. I probably would look better with the blanket over my head.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It comes and goes.
I'm enjoying every moment of this, even though you can't see me. That's fine.
We see you right now at the moment.
Yeah, we can see you right now.
You can.
Well, the camera is aimed
Yeah.
at you. It's always been aimed at you there, but we saw you smoking a while ago.
Oh, John.
So you ought to be careful where you aim that camera.
I have a comment about going back to the camping at Fredonia. As I remember, the first night we're out, the scoutmasters had a big problem of getting us to go to sleep. But the next day
Melvin's the only person I can.
we went on a big hike and we swam, and they didn't have any problem with us going to bed the second night.
Yeah, I think the Boy Scouts went there more than once.
Grantsburg Lake is still there.
I would imagine it is. I don't know. You know, the WPA built that.
Yep. I think it's still there. Carl Grant owned the farm, and I'm sure it's still there.
Yeah, that used to be the old swimming hole. That we would walk in there from different ways. That normally where the birds live, just as you started into Grantsburg, and we would walk from there over to the lake. It's probably maybe 3/4 of a mile through there. But that was pretty good the last time I was over there, that it had filled up and it was only about half as long as it used to be.
Yeah, a lot of us kids would go up to Temple and go swimming in a deep part of that creek there under the railroad bridge, because we could hitchhike up there. And I would take a dim view of this today, but Bob Gillen and I hitchhiked to New Albany one day just to have something to do.
You know, that whole Temple underneath that railroad bridge is filled up completely underneath there. You know, there used to be 4 or 5 feet of water there.
Yeah, there was.
Now it's from the quarry up there that it's washed in and there's no water there at all.
Okay.
I have a question for Gordon. Do you know of a person named Dutch Curl?
What is the last name?
Curl, C-U-R-L.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Was it someone around English or?
Yeah. My question was, if you do know him, what was his real name? It wasn't Dutch, was a nickname.
We knew a lot of people with that nickname Dutch, didn't we? Even in English, there were, what, 2 or 3.
Remember the guy called Two Finger Brown? Boy, that would be politically incorrect now.
Hey, what do you think? We've got a girl that smokes yet. I was thinking I quit when I was 36 years old, but when I was 5 years old, I started to smoke, and I couldn't afford anything except a sack of Bull Durham cost a nickel. So we would roll the road like a cowboy by the time I started to school.
Bob Mason, is Lowell Parks doing okay lately?
I don't know. I don't have any, no. But he's what, 91 years old?
That's about right. Yeah. We used to have a breakfast group from the English people that lived around the New Albany area. And when we started having those breakfast groups, there were about 18 or 20 of us. Merle Roll, Ace Ferguson, Lowell Parks, Bob and Doug Megenity, and on and on and on. We met again this past Wednesday. 2 of us showed up, Joe Tyler and me. The rest of them are all gone.
Is Sid Oman gone?
Sid Oman only met with us rare occasion. I don't know what's happened to Sid Oman.
I remember a story about you. You remember when we were in high school and everybody was poor, and you and some other guy were going to French Lick to meet some girls. Well, you didn't have the gas to get there, and it was your duty to siphon gas from to get gas to go to meet these girls in French Lick. And you said that you got there, but all night you kept burping gasoline.
Yep, I remember that story quite well. Jeannie Bunk McMail was the culprit. He said, "Now, Vic, if you can get us some gas, we've got a date with these two girls in French Lick." And I knew the two girls, and I thought, "Oh yeah, okay," but I didn't have any money. But right in front of Robert's monument shop was a great big bus, a derelict bus. Bob, do you remember that?
No.
Okay. Well, I took a big long stick and poked the gas tank, and sure enough, it had gas in it. So I found a piece of garden hose, cut it to fit, and I didn't know anything about siphoning gas, obviously. And I swallowed a bunch of it. It's a wonder it hadn't killed me. But anyway, I could hardly wait to get out of the car. And I know I never saw that girl again that I had a date with, because I was burping gas all night.
Were you
Thanks.
in the crowd the day that the one day in high school I played hooky? I don't remember who else was with me. Were you in the crowd?
Are you talking about the whole senior class?
No, this was before that.
No, I don't remember that.
I remember taking the whole senior class to your house and we fixed breakfast.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, I don't know whether she cares, but
We all got in one car, the whole class.
Yeah, Jeannie Bunk's 1949 Ford, I think was his dad's, that we got in the car and we drove all around. We drove to Pale, French Lick, went to my house. I think we went to your house too, Della.
I don't remember that. I remember going to your house and fixing bacon and eggs.
Okay.
How many bedrooms did that house you lived in there on Needmore Hill have? Because I was thinking about that the other day and I thought, they had 5 children.
Well, the two children came along a little later. Sherry and Mark were a little later, but usually there were 3 of us in one bedroom, Bob, Doug, and me. And we had an outhouse until I was in the 9th grade.
You know, I was thinking about that too. I don't think until after I left English that the Stars had an inside bathroom.
That was very common. Bob Roberts, do you remember English high school? Did it ever have an outhouse?
Yeah, it had an outhouse. There's
yes,
3
we
over, I
used to
think.
kick it over on
There was one,
Halloween.
you know, it was kind of divided up there, and there was one side was supposed to be the girls and the boys.
Yeah,
And they had 2 outside crappers.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I remember I got locked in the girls' downstairs bathroom in the old school. It was lunchtime, and I was in there with Lila Allen or somebody. Anyway, we got locked in, and we couldn't get out. It was time to go back to class, and we were frantic.
Oh, yeah, you know that they had on the boys' deal in the restrooms, that there's maybe 5 or 6 there, and they had doors on it. And S.A. Bills was fairly tall. And he was walking by there one day and looked over the top of one of them. And there was some young man was in there probably doing something that he shouldn't be. And the next day, all the doors were taken off the bathroom.
I remember I went to French Lick a few years ago and took the tour, West Baden, I guess. And I thought this was interesting. You know, it was a sulfur spring. That's what people went there for. And so from the hotel to get to the bathrooms, they had to cross a little bridge. And the thing they did was they took a cane with them from the bridge and they hung it on the outside of the bathroom they were using. Well, one day the help got upset. So they took all the cane.
Oh, you were talking about which one of you boys was it that was in a wreck and they took over to Doc Spears' place there in Pale? It was back then. It was just an old house. It was out.
There was two of them. That probably was Vic Megenity.
No, I don't think it was. I thought it was Gordon.
I was in it.
It was Gordon and Vic.
Okay. And that's Doc Spears. You know, you mentioned John Spears, but this was John's son that was doctor over there and stuff. I forget his first name.
Remember Handy Andy?
Philip, no, that's somebody else. But there was Dr. Spears and Dr. Clark. That was Dr. Clark's hospital.
That's right.
Right. And Dr. Spears was the dentist, right?
Okay.
Now, Spears had his office on the Circle in Paoli, upper right-hand corner of the Circle. He was a doctor.
When Vic and I were in the hospital in Paoli, they had a 4-bed ward, and there are 2 old men and the 2 of us, and one of the old men died one night. Remember that, Vic?
Yes, I do.
It was interesting.
It was a hospital only in name.
Correct. And the where they had the operating room where they took me the next morning after I came to see you, it was a converted coal bin in the basement. And I think of that often because I've been involved with the Shriners Hospital in Chicago for years, and we have better quarters than they had there in Paoli.
Imagine.
Yes, my daughter, when she was very little, my dad, Harry, bought a pony for my children. And I was over visiting Mother and Daddy one Sunday, and my daughter, who just passed, fell off the pony and broke her arm. So we loaded her in the car and took her to Paoli because that was the only place. And we took her to Clark Hospital where they set it.
And Della, we were all really sorry to hear about your daughter. That's tragic. I've experienced that, and it's really terrible.
It's devastating, and,
yes, it
and
is.
we do share, but because of that, I am not sharing family Christmas this year. That and the virus, I'm going to spend it alone.
Okay.
Well, we've all got the new year right around the corner, and I'm looking at the calendar because we do this Zoom thing the second Sunday of each month. So it looks like January the 10th. That's next up. So it's the same link. It's the same time. I'll mention that the next month when you connect, you might be automatically put in an individual waiting room because it's Indiana University's system that I set this meeting up through, and they're going to start to require that everybody who is not an IU staff or student be put in a virtual waiting room, which all that means is that if you join before I join, you're not going to see anybody else. So just hang tight and until I connect, and then we'll all be able to be in the meeting together. So I just wanted to give a heads up that if it looks a little different next month,
Email me help on how to become a full member. I've enjoyed the talking, but I'd like to be a full member.
yeah, you can join the same way on your iPad next month, or there's always an option to call in too. If anyone just wants to do the audio only and you want to call from your telephone, there's a way to do that too. But it's of course nice to be able to see everyone's faces if that works for you. But yeah, we're at our hour mark. So I guess unless anyone has a burning desire, something that's occurred to you while we've all been connected, I guess we wrap it up for another month and wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and
Yeah.
Love you all.
Christmas, everyone.
I do
Thanks,
think
Jeremy,
Jeremy,
for
for your
hosting
help.
us. Appreciate it.
I think it would be good if Bob can get Ron Kissel on.
I'll try and see what I can do.
Is
I'll
Ron
get him
Kissel?
to- I'll probably have him to call Jeremy, and Jeremy.
Is Ron Kissel still alive?
Oh, is he? Is he
Ron
back?
Kissel
Do you know
alive?
where he lives?
Pardon?
You know where Kissel lives?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
think it's maybe South Carolina. I'm not for sure.
I think that's right, South Carolina, but I haven't heard
okay.
from him for ages.
I'll
Me neither.
run down his things on Facebook. It has all that information. I'd see if I
Okay.
can call him. Have him call you, Jeremy.
yep, please.
Maybe next time, if you keep sending this
Be
to
great.
me, I can click on it. And
that was easier than
I'm
just.
not of the computer age. Good night.
All right, bye everybody.
Take care, Michael Pale.
Merry
Night.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Night, Michael.
God bless you all.